Hello students, welcome back to JJ's physics class. In the last class, we have discussed about basic definition and what are the effects of forces. Today, we will be discussing about different types of forces. Let us start. So what are the types of forces? There are two types of forces. In nature, they are contact forces and non-contact forces. Contact forces are muscular force and frictional force. Non-contact forces are the magnetic force, gravitational force, and electrostatic force. So contact forces are nothing but forces exerted by one object or another when they are in contact with each other. Can you give some other examples of contact forces? Let me give some. Picking this pen or writing using this pen, taking off my glasses. These are the examples of contact forces. So contact forces are of two types. They are muscular force and force of friction. We have discussed about contact forces. But what is non-contact forces? Definitely it is the opposite of contact forces, right? So non-contact forces are the forces exerted by one object on another without any contact with each other. As I mentioned, these are of three types: magnetic forces, gravitational forces, and electrostatic forces. Non-contact forces, also known as action at a distance forces. So types of action at a distance forces are gravitational, electrical, and magnetic forces. So let us start with contact forces one by one. The first one is muscular force. What is muscular force? Something to do with the muscles, right? So what is muscular force? Muscular force is nothing but the force exerted by the muscles of our body. So we use muscular force for various activities. So writing, picking some object, right? Throwing. So these are all examples of muscular forces. We apply muscular forces during the basic day-to-day work of our life, such as breathing, digestion, lifting a bucket, pulling or pushing some object. Not only humans, but also animals use muscular force to perform various tasks. Another type of contact force is frictional forces. So what is frictional forces? Friction is nothing but is the force which opposes the motion of an object over a surface. Frictional forces arises due to the contact between two surfaces. Examples for frictional forces are lighting a matchstick. Here two objects are in contact or the surfaces are in contact. So the frictional force arises. The force of friction is always acts on all the moving objects. That's very important. And its direction is always opposite to the direction of motion. So the frictional force direction is always opposite to the direction of motion. Since the force of friction arises due to the contact between surfaces, it is also an example of contact forces. Now let us discuss about the non-contact forces. So let us start with gravitational force. So what happens when you drop this pen? It did not go up, right? Can you explain? So it is due to acceleration due to gravity or gravitational force exerted by the earth on this pen. Another example, the motion of planets, sun, all stars are all examples of gravitational force. Another example, you can see that the teacup is stationary unless you take it from that position, right? There are many examples of gravitational forces. So all objects on earth experience what? The gravitational force, which is directed downwards towards the center of the earth. The force of gravity is always equal to the weight of the object. So you might have seen this, right? Another example of non-contact force is an electrostatic force. What is electrostatic force? Electrostatic force is exerted on a charging body by another charging body. So you can do this activity to find out about the electrostatic force. Another example you can do is take two balloons and rub with hair, then the two balloons will attract each other. And the last one is the magnetic force. So magnetic force is another example of non-contact force. It is a push or pull exerted by a magnet. So the force of attraction or repulsion between an object or magnet is called magnetism. So all magnets have north and south poles. The force of attraction or repulsion that arises between electrically charged particles due to their motion. Examples: iron nails when placed near a magnet. So take some iron nails, and if you have a magnet, just move close to the magnet. You can see that it attracts the iron nails. So we have discussed about contact and non-contact forces. Contact forces are of two types: frictional forces and muscular forces. Non-contact forces are gravitational force, electrostatic force, and magnetic forces. Thank you, students.